Okay, guys, a lot to react to here. Ryan, let's start with you here. I think the big surprise was Brian Flores being out with the Dolphins. What's your reaction to this?
Yeah, this seems like a mistake to me. Like, this is a guy who has kept his team competitive throughout the 3 seasons he's been there. You look at what he was able to do moving from Fitz to Tua Tagovailoa, also using them in duplicate ways or using them as a duo last year, and now finding ways to win 8 out of 9 games as you finish the season. And as Dan mentioned, even on Get Up, you beat the New England Patriots 2 times this year.
Yeah.
This is a team that's continued to have the identity of playing great defense, and he's a defensive coach. This is a team that has learned to play offense, even with an offensive line that wasn't the type of offensive line you thought could protect a young quarterback or have you an opportunity or give you an opportunity to have a run game. And so when I see a leader like this who is ousted as a head coach, it makes me feel like they don't have the right executives or the right leadership at the top of the organization to understand what they're getting. And the huge question for me is this. Okay, you get rid of Brian Flores. Who are you going to get to replace him, and how is that an upgrade over the head coach you just had?
I think it's a mistake, and I think it's ridiculous. This is a coach that's 19-14 in his last 2 seasons. The NFL is a what have you done for me lately results-driven league.
Yep.
We see a lot of really good men and people and coaches get fired. And sometimes we sit here and we go, you just didn't get it done.
It's ball.
The results are what they're 19-14. All right, so you mentioned they beat New England twice this year. They beat New England 3 out of the last 4 times. And this, for me, feels a lot like what Detroit did to Jim Caldwell when I was there. And when they fired Coach Caldwell, we thought that's a mistake. Because Coach Caldwell had built good teams. But the organization was like, we want great teams. We want better. We want to take the next step. Yeah. And now Detroit, I think, is encouraged by Dan Campbell. But over the past 4 years, they've been like, again, a laughing stock.
Yep.
So for me, it feels like, what's the reasoning? What's the justification? Because the results were there. The culture was good, at least trending in that direction. And your players always tell you what they think of a coach by the style and the way they play.
Yeah.
I've been on bad teams, unfortunately, right? They're 1-7. 2 weeks ago, this team was playing for a chance to get into the playoffs.
Yep.
You don't think that the coach has a grasp of the locker room, a feel to get his guys to play the right way? Yeah. I just don't understand how 2 winning seasons in a row.
They've won 8 of their last 9.
Correct.
So what could the justification possibly be? I mean, you even saw Tua yesterday.
Well, here's what happens. These teams feel like they're on the cusp, and they don't understand how they got there. They're not giving Brian Flores the respect for building this team and putting it in a position to be 1 game away from getting into the playoffs. What they're looking at is the result of not winning that game 2 weeks ago and saying, okay, at the beginning of the season, we expected to be something different. But I also don't think they realized that in the middle of the season, you were linked to Deshaun Watson and trade rumors. So not only did Brian Flores have to prepare a team to win football games, he also had to manage a young quarterback and the things that he was hearing.
And he did a great job of doing that.
Absolutely.
Always stood behind Tua.
Absolutely. And I don't understand when, again, if we look at results, the results were there. We look at the development of the culture was there. The Patriots needed to win yesterday as well. It wasn't like the Patriots mailed it in, and you beat them handily at home. I would sit here and say this. If they had kept Brian Flores and had made one more move on the offensive line, I would have pegged this team throughout this offseason as a team that was going to be a playoff football team heading into next year. Now I think you've got giant questions at the head coaching position. I think it's fair to say, Chris Grier, there's questions there because there's been some moves that have been questionable when it comes to the addition of the talent. You're the person who picked all the offensive linemen. You're the person who attached your football team to Deshaun Watson. And now this is going to, again, bring questions to Tua. Is Tua the guy there next year? Or what are they going to do with him? I just think it's a mistake.
And it's extremely hard to fire a man who, at least seemingly from the outside, kept his team engaged no matter what the record said. Right. And no matter what decision he made. When he was subbing in Ryan Fitzpatrick as almost a reliever for Tua Tagovailoa, not only was Tua on board, not only was Ryan Fitzpatrick on board, but the team understood it. It always seemed that every decision that he made was about winning, and that the team knew that he was singularly focused on that, and that's what drove every decision that he made.
Yeah, definitely a lot of cohesion with the Dolphins. So very surprising, I think, for everyone to see Brian Flores out this morning.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.